Sounds like a plan. I'm going to share my screen. I just have everything on a Word document, and then I'll shoot through that relatively quickly. And if you have any questions, you can stop me, I guess, at the end, and I'll just put it up there. So give a thumbs up if you could see my screen.
By the way, Hillary, I just went and did over to the one that Josh sent out, and there was 3 of us over there on that one. So they're all getting off of that one and coming to yours, I think.
Okay, cool. So I'll wait another 20 seconds. I know. I think, well, as long as there's only 3, it won't be horrible. I figure since I get to run the show today, then I get to do it on my Zoom meeting.
You got to run it yesterday too.
You know, the dates were off. It was just a bad email. It was just, let's just forget about that email completely. Yep, that's what I'm doing. It was just a mess. I don't know. I like copy and pasted, and then I just sent it, and then I was trying to use my touch screen and send it at the same time, and that wasn't the best one. I've been good with all my other emails. I'm trying not to do typos and, you know, be grammatically correct, and I think I've been pretty good.
Is Josh going to join us today?
No, he is out of town.
Well, I got a couple that I really need to get from me, so he's probably not answering emails either.
Not that I know of. If you send him an email, I think he'll have an automated response, and then it will tell you when he'll be back. But I'll get through all of my little announcements, and then if you guys have any questions on any of this or any additional stuff, then we'll go from there. Does it look like those 3 people are here? Maybe. All right. Well,
I think Joe was one of them. I don't see him here, but you know, I don't see all the participants though, so he may be on there.
okay, so the first 3 are what Josh wanted me to remind you guys. So any instructors that still don't have their USI workbooks, you should get them very soon. I have an RFP assignment from last year that I'll show you just quickly. And if you would like me to send it to you, then send a little chat to me right now, or send me an email and I'll send you what I have. It is just a PDF that has been scanned in. I don't have the final copy, you know, on electronic format other than this, but this should work out just fine for you guys. And what is online already is kind of like a scrap of what the students have done. So it's kind of like their brainstorming sheet to then how they got to this as their final project. So this was the students' name and company names, as well as logo, and then the table of contents. This is probably not, well, I'm quite sure it's not perfect APA format, but that wasn't the standard when I did it. So obviously those things would be changed for this year. And then obviously I'm writing on it because I was grading it. But this was the 1-page fact sheet that I had them create. And this is the only thing that they may have made duplicates of, really, if they wanted to pass them out. That would have been up to them, though. And so here's their company background, and this is where they start to explain who they are as a company, as well as their made-up personalities and what they brought to the table, or at least what they presented and brought to the table that way. And then we move on to the budget and costs. And then their cost table, because I had them project a few years out. I think the requirement was only for 3 years, but they continued on. This group did extremely well. And then this is the system cost or system explanation. And this is where what I'm going to do this year is expand each of these sections. So what I'm going to have them do is have the groups divide reliability and then the next few topics. So there's the reliability, and then there's the human factors aspect and that kind of thing. And I'm going to have each student do their own section. So one would do reliability, one would do human factors, one would do safety, and that will be their personal APA formatted individual paper. And then this is where they would put it all together. So at least this section of it will be done, and then they do outside of this to work together as a group.
Hillary, I guess I have a question then.
Mm-hmm.
So what portion of the APA are they following to build this? I mean, how are you grading their APA formatting if they're only doing a section for an informational purposes here? And I don't see any anywhere where they've put where they got their information from. You know, there's
Right.
no annotation or anything here.
I'm not sure if you heard me, but this was from last year, so that there was no standard for APA for me last year. So this is not an APA formatted paper. But what I'm doing this year is I'm going to require it to be APA formatted, and I'm going to have each of the students do their own section in terms of one does reliability, that was the section above this, one does human factors, one does the next one, which would be operational limits, and so on. And so then that paper is their individual paper. They will have citations, they will have quotations if they need to, they will have their page, you know, their site research page.
And you're limiting them to about 2 pages. But what happens if you only have a paragraph? I mean, I can't make them just stretch out a paragraph into 2 pages for the APA requirement, right?
Why not? I would.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to get a bunch of, I mean, depending, I haven't read this. So, I mean, like for human factors, you may be able to write 10 pages. For one of the other sections, it may be difficult to come up with more than just a paragraph worth of information. But anyway, let me read this and see. I might be able to answer my own question.
Okay, it should be quite easily, like, it's very feasible for all of these things to make at least 2 pages. That shouldn't be an issue as to length of this. I had to stop them at about 30. So that shouldn't be a problem. I have, I think I put one of the regulation, like one of the subjects as regulations also. So depending on how many students are in that group, you can keep either dividing these topics up, or you could make one group that has 3 students divided up that way. So it's totally up to you how you want to do this. This is just what I'm doing. So if you want to go more in depth, go for it. If you want to go less in depth, go for it. But this is what I'm going to do, because if I need to require an individual APA formatted paper, then I'm going to have them work on individual sections of this paper. So they would have regulations. That would be an easy works cited page, and how their system makes sure to meet all of these regulations. or meet and exceed all of these safety requirements, or explain what human factors is, and then how does their project, how does their UAS work in terms of human factors. So these are going to be their individual APA formatted papers. I'm going to grade them separately, and then I'm going to make them put them all together. So then they'll have one larger works cited page. And
Are you counting it as 15% as what was in the syllabus?
Right. And so then safety would be another topic. So this would be when they are about 3/4 of the way done with their group project. So they've already chosen all of their components. They've already discussed, you know, their business plan for the most part, their budget, that kind of thing. So they've already discussed this as a group, but now they do have to do individual work, and then they're going to come back together and make sure it all works together. So that's my plan. And it won't happen at least for another, I would say about a month. In a month, I'll have them do this paper. So in about 2 weeks, I'm personally going to have them start on this.
Now you're in the classroom with them, so you're there working with the individual groups and helping them do this stuff, I take it.
I am that person, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do that from online, the hybrid modality. So I'm going to have to get the teachers in the classroom a lot more up to speed on the kind of a checklist of things that we're looking for to get accomplished so that they can work with them, because they're going to be doing the hands-on work with them.
This, to me, it is kind of, it's pretty good plug and play kind of thing, to be honest. I don't think that it's that far stretch of the imagination that even if they don't have a huge amount of background with UASs, that they can assign this kind of paper. So I have the grading sheet, I have the grading rubric, I have all of the timelines, hypothetical, you know, situations. I have this example, I have the draft that the other students have, I have the peer review sheets that we grade from. I mean, I have a lot of information here, and to me, if obviously I did this, but if you have any questions particular to this project, then I'll totally be glad to explain where I'm coming from with it. But you don't have to follow, like no one has to follow this exactly. If you do not want to do peer reviews for some crazy reason, I think that would be kind of insane. But if you don't want to, then don't. You know, if you don't want to assign the APA format the way I'm doing it, then don't. If you don't want to make this like a huge 2-week project, go for it. Do 4 days project. Make them do it at home. Make them do it only on Fridays. You know, it's totally up to you guys. This is just me trying to help out with what I have done, and the students have a headache and a half, and they complain and they pull and they argue, but at the end of it, they're like, thank you. So I get a lot out of it. I invite the vice principals or assistant principals. I invite the deans. I invite everyone to actually witness their presentation. And when the principals and assistant principals and, you know, the head honchos see what we've been covering, they're blown away. So this is for you guys if you want to see it. I'll be glad to email it out. It's just on PDF. So this was like a 19-page document. And then this group went above and beyond. This is a pamphlet that they handed out. So when I tell them that I'm going to invite, you know, the administration, they handed these out to them. They also gave like little business cards that they just printed off from the computer. So this group went above and beyond and did really well. They pretty much mopped the floor with everybody else, and they were one of the first ones to go. So then the other ones just get scared, and it's kind of hilarious. But that is the RFP. This is the best one I have had yet. So that's why I wanted to show it to you guys. And obviously there's mistakes in there. I'm sure there's like grammatical errors and it's not APA formatted. You know, there's ups and downs to it. But so far, this was the best one. So any questions on that? And again, you know, take it with a grain of salt if you choose to. But if you want to use this and just say that this is their assignment, then go for it. Okay, so the rest of what I have is really just announcements and reminders. So if you have a quadcopter kit and you are building it, then you pretty much can't fly it yet in terms of inside or outside, because inside it's quite dangerous. It's not very reliable, and outside, most likely either you're not in the right place because of airspace, or it still may just kind of fly away because it's not very reliable. So they are petting zoo pieces. We can call them that. We can make a nicer name, a nicer way of saying it, but pretty much you create it, you build it, and you let it sit there. And then if you want to take it apart again, go for it.
I'm not sure exactly what DIY kits you're talking about. I got a couple that I'm not sure where they came from, honestly. They have nobody's names on them. They were just shipped to me. But I've given them to our drone club, which our drone club is AMA chartered, and they fly outdoors, and they will have the FAA registration on them from the school. So we'll be in compliance for using them. I'm not using them at all with the AS220, but I didn't know where they came from. I don't know if they came from you guys or where, but anyway, our drone club's got them, and they're going to be building them. And you know, as long as we don't have anything to do with Embry-Riddle, and I'm an AMA member, we're an AMA flight site. So, you know, barring any other thing that says I can't do it, that's how I'm using a couple of DIY drone kits that showed up that I don't know anything about.
That may be from us. They came in like in white boxes, maybe a little bigger than a standard shoebox size. You got anywhere from like maybe 2 to 4.
Don't say anything about Embry-Riddle, huh?
That's probably from us.
Well, and for the people that didn't get to do it yourself, I think they also sent out another, and it's about almost as big as a DJI type kit. And they don't have prop guards on them. They got huge props. And I asked Josh about those because they're not very stable indoors either. And he waved off, said, yeah. Don't fly those either. Those are not to be flown indoors. So now I've got an expensive paperweight that we can just show people this is what a drone looks like. But I mean, they can't use it. And some of the teachers actually, before they were told not to fly it, tried to fly those as well. And they were totally unstable as well. So I guess the only one we can fly is the AR Parrot.
Pretty much. But
And it's only flown indoors, so.
right. But if you get the DJI training, which leads us to the next bullet point, if you get that, Josh should have already emailed you saying that you're good to go. And that's from March 25th through the 26th. So it's only going to be for those 2 days. And he recommends practicing on real flight for either the quadcopter or the octocopter. And as long as you are good to go at the end, you kind of get like a little test, a skills test for the most part. And if you can pass that, then you'll walk home with the DJI. But if you can't pass it, then you don't walk home with it. So obviously the goal is that if you're making it all this way and doing the training, that you'll be able to do it and go home with it. But there will be also a brief online course before you get there. And so that will be sent out. I think Josh allotted like maybe 4-ish hours. So it's not nearly as extensive as the USI training. But that does have to be completed prior to the 25th. So he'll let you know. And as soon as I know, I'm doing it too. So I'll give you as much information as I can on that.
Do teachers that have like, the distance in, do they have to have that training?
No, this is only for those teachers or professors that are going to go home with the DJI, and this UAS cannot be actually used for the curriculum. So it'll be very explicit as to like where you really can't use it. And bottom line is that Embry-Riddle, the liability is just too high for this.
All right, I hear you saying a few things, and I have our own little setup down here, if you will. Now, you're telling me that even though Embry-Riddle are giving these to us, I could transfer ownership to my drone club.
Yes. That's in fact what it seems like they would prefer you to do.
That's exactly what I would love to do. If I transfer ownership to the drone club, Embry-Riddle no longer has anything to do with it, and we can operate it under our AMA program.
Right. And then Embry-Riddle can wipe their hands clean of it and say it's your problem if anything has, a problem.
Absolutely. We'll put our own registration number on it, and Embry-Riddle will never know where it went.
Well, you can send us the pictures and stuff. I mean, do the cool stuff with us.
Yes, ma'am. I can send you some pictures and video of our drone club, not my AS220 class.
Beautiful. Now you're on it.
Okay.
Keeping it going. If you're a full-time employee at Embry-Riddle, then you should have received some HR training emails, and you have I think it's about 45 to 60 days to finish that. So it's just the HR mandatory yearly training. So if you are a full-time Embry-Riddle paid employee, not if you're an adjunct teaching 2 classes, not if you're a high school teacher, assistant, nothing. What's that?
I'm all done. I sent Art my certificates, whatever.
Yeah, that was really fun. NTAS, we still have 1 or 2 more spots open. It's March 13th through the 16th. It is at the Daytona Beach campus. I looked at the panels and the programs and the speakers that are coming. A majority of it is on the ATP requirements for piloting. So if you're teaching 120 or 121 next year, then this would be great for you to go to. It's kind of like an all expense paid trip. That was that email that I sent. And I was like, all expense paid trip to Daytona. This is it. That's what I was in. Yeah. Let's see. Fun and Fun is still, the same dates, 5th through 10th. If you need a group tour or a group rate form, then let me know. It's still $25 for 18 and up, but it's free for everybody under and free parking. And if you want a tour, then it's a free tour. And we just received this email, so I'm kind of going to highlight it a little bit. But in the summer, we're starting to actually end the semesters already. So late May through early June, somewhere in there, there's going to be a mandatory Zoom meeting. It said in the email from Janine anywhere between 2 to 4 hours of online time. And because it is online time, it's required that you show up. And then I think it did also say in there somewhere that you have to get some type of video so they can kind of see who you are. Yeah.
Is that also for the high school teachers or just the professors?
I would say that would also be for the high school teachers. But I will verify that. Did you receive this email? Do you remember from Janine? It should have come just today or yesterday.
Yeah, I got one yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, then I would say yes.
Hillary,
Mm-hmm.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I read it 2 or 3 times, and I kind of got the impression that if you wanted to use Canvas in your classrooms, you had to complete Canvas training on that.
Yes.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but I imagine we might have some mandatory meetings because it sounds like they're eliminating some on-campus time, that requiring us to come there. But for some of us that really can't use Canvas to train with, I don't know if it's really important, but they do have some Canvas training there on how to use it. I would like to learn how to just download stuff off of it. I'm still a little lost. But can I ask a question while I have the floor for a minute?
All you.
Okay. Are we still teaching the course from Unmanned Safety Institute in the classroom? Are those kids getting a certificate?
Yes.
And is the school getting paid?
The students will definitely get a certificate as long as they pass the final part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that 75
Right.
question with at least an 80. And
Okay, so they get the certificate. Okay. Any reimbursement for the school or for the instructors?
that depends mostly on your school if they registered for that particular industry certificate.
How does that work? How does the school have to register for it? Is it either or they get the certificate or they get college credit? Or have they, what I'm asking is, has the school ever been given a choice to register for this thing? I was just told to tell everybody about it and we got to do all these things. Are we doing them or not?
I will verify.
It's the understanding of our school that any course that gives them college credit, that they will not get reimbursed or paid anything. We don't know if anything's going to Embry-Riddle as we complete it or not, for those of us that are, Embry-Riddle contract. But our school understanding, and they went in to look at registering, and it said this is a dual enrollment course, that they weren't eligible for the CLE funding.
Okay. All right. But the kids can still, since we're getting these workbooks and all that stuff, regardless of the extra money that was advertised, that's not going to happen. But the kids can actually, if they pass the test, they'll get a certificate, right?
Right. They will definitely get something in the mail.
And on that subject, unfortunately, out of the 9 students I had to take it, only 3 passed.
Right.
And they said there was an 80% pass rate on that test. But, I made them do what you suggested that I do, Hillary, have them write all the questions down and do everything that I knew how to do, that use that workbook with a computer-based learning program. And after 3 weeks of getting in the computer labs as many times as I could, I felt like I'd basically given up as much time to it as I could. About half the class had finished the workbook in 3 weeks. So I scheduled a test, and like I said, only 3 out of 9 passed. One got a 79.5. I asked them to hand grade the paper. They said, nope, it's not an 80.
Gosh. Okay, but are we supposed to do it during class time or not during class time? I thought one of the parameters for doing this was the course itself, AS220, was predicated on so many classroom hours instruction, and that this certification was going to be done pretty much by the students online, doing their workbooks and things. How's that been? Anybody had any success having the kids work independently on it?
Everything that we did, some of them did some of it at home. Those that succeeded obviously did a little work outside the classroom, I believe. But most of them did not do any work outside of when I got them in a computer lab.
Okay, that's okay. Because I haven't got my workbooks yet. I have one school where I don't think they're going to do anything on their own. The other school, I think, they might give it a shot. So I guess it's a learning process for all of us.
Well, because I do know that depending on what the school has coded that particular course for, then it's weighted slightly different. They are allowed different types of credit. So the assistant principal, at least in my two schools, there's one assistant principal that covers kind of like a dual enrollment range. And that's always who I go to ask for the industry certs for. And that's who I ask about course codes and all that stuff and what I should be telling my students if it's on, you know, a 4.0 scale or a 5.0 or a 4.5. So it depends on each different school and how they see it.
Wouldn't it be more of a district issue because they uniformly sign up for this thing? The reason I'm asking is because my kids are getting, you know, honors credit for this and credit and college. So it's really a 5.0 A, you know, and that's what they want. So they, in no way would they change that back so they would make it like a networking program or something, a Microsoft course or something, so they can get a certificate. Because most of them would probably not see the value in that certificate over getting college courses.
It's surprising, but it really does depend on not only the district but also the high school sometimes, because each school values things differently. Some schools value GPAs really intensely. Some schools really value industry certs because it could bring more money to the school. So it really is an independent thing.
Okay. Well, shouldn't is that a job for us to do as adjuncts to go talk to professors about, talk to principals about this, or shouldn't somebody from management do that? You know, our area manager person or somebody that really has the juice, you know, to talk.
I don't
to
think there are
principals.
any regional managers anymore, are there?
Well, Dave, you're a little different because you have Kelly.
Yeah.
So the
So shouldn't she
default,
be doing, you know, I mean, I'm not laying it off on her or throwing her under the bus, but maybe she's somebody that could present this to the district, because I don't think our principals ever knew anything about it other than when I went in one day jumping up and down saying, hey, you guys are going to get a lot of money when these kids pass. And they were all really excited to hear that. And then we're not. So nobody said anything else about it.
Kelly
I know
would
that
at least know for you guys.
I was sent to finish the training just because my principal told me that was the only way we could get CAPE funding is if I was certified, not necessarily the professor.
Right. Oh, you had to be certified?
Yeah, I just finished this course the last weekend.
How was it? Did you pass?
I passed, yes.
Good job.
It was a lot of work. I mean, yeah, it was a lot of work.
So that's what I'm saying. If we dump that on the kids, like, here's your workbook, we've got you logged in, do lesson 1 and 2 and 3 this week, and we'll go over them on Friday. And I only see the kids every other day. So some weeks I only see them Tuesdays and Thursdays. Anyway, bottom line is if they want the certificate, they're going to have to do the work. And the school's not going to get any money unless somebody explains it to them so that they recode it. I just don't think I have the juice to do that personally. But it's just me.
My school thinks they're getting money. That's the whole reason why they sent me. I'm just a regular teacher to go get certified.
Really? Are they getting college credit? The kids?
Yeah, they're getting college credit.
And they're getting. And you think the school will be surprised if they don't get money?
Yes, because that's the whole way the program was going to fund itself to be able to pay for the certificate was the CAPE funding would then recycle back in.
Our administrators believe that if you get college credit, you can't also get CAPE funding.
Yeah. Hillary,
Yes,
that's kind of a system problem.
that is.
You know?
I agree.
Maybe you could kick that upstairs next time you get
I
together.
will kick it upstairs. And the thing is, they're kind of going to give the answer that I just give. It depends on each particular school district, and it depends on how
Right.
the courses are coded. Because
Right.
you can have a Florida DOE, like
Uh-huh.
a course number, or you can have a skins number, and depending on which one you have, that depends on
Uh-huh.
what can be achieved for that particular course.
Okay.
So,
Well, the question would be then, who's the person that's going to present that to the districts?
that's a Colleen or Art question. That is above my pay grade.
Yeah. So will you kick that up to them and ask them, like, you know, because I don't even know if anybody in Duval County is even aware of it. You know, that it's an either or thing. So anyway, you know, I'm just going to cruise along. I'm going to give the kids an opportunity to get the certificate, but the school's not going to see any money, nor will the instructors, I guess. So,
Correct. That's my understanding.
You know,
I also want you to
Okay.
be aware that at least this time, because you're getting
Uh-huh.
workbooks from Embry-Riddle, you know, the Gates they're the ones funding the front end of it. So when you looked at the
workbook.
yeah, the workbooks. So you're
Yeah.
not
Oh, you.
technically just getting the workbooks, you're getting this whole entire course, this online thing.
Yeah.
It was somewhere around $1,000 or something like that for each
Sure.
to get these workbooks and the online course.
Yeah. Plus, we got trained
Right.
at an expense. All I'm saying is that somebody up at your end needs to present that to these district offices or whoever does this stuff, and work it all the way down to the principals and let them know it's an either or thing. And here's how to code it if you want this, and here's how you code it if you want that, because we really don't know. I mean, I'm just, you know, teaching a course. So it's way above my pay grade to get into that
Yeah.
with the
And
administration.
yeah, this is still a learning experience for everyone too, even in the Gates office.
Sure.
What they're going to do to present to the district and the principals for next year is they're going to kind of walk them through the difference between dual enrollment, concurrent enrollment, and possibly a possibility of another option. So that isn't
Okay.
100% in stone of what is going on just yet. And again, each high school gets to choose what they would like to do.
Right. And what I'm saying is that they ought to say, hey, Dave, you're teaching AS 220, and these kids in this class are going to be getting college credit. However, these kids over here are going to be getting industry certification, something like that.
Okay.
But that's something that they can do. And so we'll just press on with it as is right now and let the kids, you know, come up with their, you know, do the best they can to get a certification. But at some point, the school systems really need to be read in on what their choices are and how they select them. You know?
And Hillary, what I thought last week or 2 weeks ago, they were going to try to do a dial-in with a lot of the school administrations. At least I saw an email where they were talking about doing that about 2 weeks ago. So that
They
could
did,
talk-
we did, and this subject didn't come up.
Okay, well, that would have been a perfect opportunity for them to have talked directly to the folks that are going to hopefully sign up to do this again next year. Now they're going to be presented with this, and they're going to say, wait a minute, we just had this talk. And anyway.
Because in the meeting that I was in, they did discuss this one. It was a Duval County, I want to say St. Augustine was there, so St. Johns County. There were about 11 entities there. And this was discussed. So it, again, above my pay grade. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me.
We're not going to shoot you. We're just saying, hey, you know, we're kind of doing this in the dark. I like to get up in front of my kids and talk from a position of knowing what the heck I'm saying. So if I say, hey, this is what this certificate means, that's a good thing. I want them to get turned on about it and do it. If I go to the principal like I've already gone and said, hey, guess what? This year we're adding this and your school's going to get paid because that's what I was told. Remember? You know, when this was first done this summer, and my principal's little eyes lit up and got real happy, and and now and I've never mentioned it again because all of a sudden I realized that I didn't think it was really going to happen as advertised. But that's why they need to get read in from somebody up at your end, rather than us get caught in the middle like, I thought you said this or I thought you said that. Kind of kills our credibility, if that makes sense.
Dan.
Okay, I'll feel better.
I still think we shoot Hillary. I mean, why not?
You know what?
What the heck? Shoot yourself, will you, Hillary?
No. You know how I am about cleanliness, okay? I don't want to leave a mess.
Okay.
Hey, Hillary, April 1st and 2nd, is that for only accepted students? If we decided we wanted to take our seniors up that day, would that be a good day or not that good day?
Okay, so April 1st and 2nd, what's going on here is April 1st is a Friday, and then April 2nd is obviously the Saturday. Any students that have been accepted March 1st or prior to. So if your students have already been accepted, then you will get an email from ART, and it will have in there the names of the students, and then it will have pretty much like some activities that they can go to. So they can meet with financial aid, they could, take tours. We'll have alumni there that have been already like through the ACA and now are Embry-Riddle students. And then April 1st, that night, is the dinner.
To dinner.
Yeah.
So that would
That's
not
on Friday
be the night to bring our 10 seniors that haven't been accepted.
If they have not been accepted yet, then they're not really
Invited. That's fine. I just want to know.
Hillary?
Yeah.
We used to come up on Thursday night. Is that going to happen anymore?
It's only going to be these 2 days because we're still
Friday
doing that
Friday during the day and Saturday.
Correct. And so the students, so we get an email and then we pass it on to the students, and they are allowed to come with a parent / chaperone / whoever, guardian. And then when they RSVP, they'll get their hotel confirmation and they'll get our dinner for the night of April 1st.
Okay, but we just drive up on a Friday then. We don't come up on Thursday afternoon and spend the night.
Right.
So this is just for accepted seniors, and can I still finagle flights with the proper connections?
If you talk to me, I'll get in touch and I'll hand you over a permission slip and waive all their rights.
Okay, so same old deal. I can bring the kids, but the parents have to pick them up on Saturday.
Yes. I could show you let me find the email.
Because it used to be 2 nights, which was cool.
Yes, it is only 1 night. Ignore the student's name. It's right there. Okay. So this is what you get. We start our weekend on Friday the 1st, and then anywhere from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., parents, Embry-Riddle, and us as a teacher. And then these are the events that are planned for April 2nd. So preview day is from 8 to 3, and you can register for your classes, get your student ID. And it's really all that is planned is the 6:30 celebratory dinner on Friday night.
Can parents actually come and spend the night?
They've always been welcome. I don't see why not. There is a student registration.
Because see, I've always brought 4, 5, or 8 kids up there and spent the night as a chaperone, and then the parents would come up on Saturday morning to police them up and to go, walk the campus and do financial aid and all that.
They're only registering for student preview day itself. They're not technically registering for us. So I'll verify that. It doesn't say it anywhere in the email that I can see. Oh,
Okay, yeah.
restricted to accepted seniors and their parents or guardians or chaperones.
For the Friday night
Correct.
motel.
So participation is for the seniors, parents, guardians, or chaperone.
Right. And then parents can come up on Saturday and hang out and do the whole thing with them.
Right.
Okay.
And then, so if we want to do anything else, then we have to send Debbie Triplett an email for the Friday, pretty much. So
Okay.
if they're only planning on coming up on the student preview day, then we don't have to talk to Debbie. But if we're planning on doing anything prior to that, so the sleeping over or the dinner or any of that, then we'll talk to Deb.
Preview day is Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Oh, okay. But they can come Friday and spend the night.
Correct.
Cool. All right. And Art's going to send me a list of kids that are accepted.
Yes. And the title is, he'll give it high importance and acceptance due to preview day.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And the last thing was the summer camp scholarship that's on a first come, first served basis. And I could tell you that I had 2 or 3 students already apply or, already put their stuff in. So it's a race and we're on.
Hillary, did they send them an individual email on their Embry-Riddle account? I thought that's what it said on there, that they were going to invite the students. And so I told my students, you need to make sure you check your Embry-Riddle email account because you should be getting something on there about a scholarship opportunity. June, July timeframe. I've never seen anything else. The students haven't mentioned to me whether they've seen it yet or not. So,
Are you talking about the summer camp one, or are you talking about the student preview day?
The
No, I'm
summer
talking
camp
about
when
the
there was an
summer
email went out. Sorry.
I don't think that it was sent to their.
That's what the original email said, is that
Oh,
it
was
was
it?
going to be sent to their Embry-Riddle accounts, but I made copies of it and gave it to them because I know.
well, that's my point. I mean, if they don't all get the information at the same time, the ones that got the email and apply get the scholarship. Everybody else is, oh, sorry, you're too late. So.
As soon as I saw first come, first serve, I gave it to them.
I got it yesterday. I had to make copies, and I'll give it to my kids day after tomorrow. That's the first time I'll have a chance at it. But I did have 1 or 2 of my kids come and say, "Hey, Commander, I got an invitation to go to preview day." So I know those are the kids that have been accepted.
Yeah, I got 5 schools.
Yeah.
So
And that
I
was a
can't
couple
print
weeks
out-
ago.
I can't print out copies and hand out to my students. I got 5 schools that I'm doing a hybrid on. So if they're not sending an email to those students, they're going to get screwed out of this opportunity.
Yeah, you have to make your own copies and take them to them, because that's the drawback of this, because they send it out in the email as an attachment, and half of those kids, I don't know how your success is, but I say, hey, we got you logged into Ernie, write down your password and your login information, and 2 weeks later when we have to get on Ernie to do something else, 50% of them go, I don't remember. So I know they're not checking their Ernie email, because half of them don't even remember how to log on. It's kind of weird, but they just don't.
The summer camp information is embedded in that e-newsletter. So unless these students actually look at this newsletter, then they're probably not going to see it.
Yep.
So this,
Yeah, it's
right.
4 pages down.
And if there's only 16 and you've already got 3, it's going to go fast.
Well, don't worry. I won't take up all 16.
And they have to mail it in. They
Correct.
can't email it.
Yep.
So, hey, but I had to download the brochure and find out that one little page about the information about these scholarships. And I made a copy of that, took it to school today and asked for 50 copies. And, that's how it works. But on that information sheet is a website. so that they can go on and look at what the different summer camps are. But
Now, is there any cost
It's a process.
besides other than getting there and home? Is there any cost
None.
once they're there?
None at
They
all.
feed them, they house them.
They do everything.
Yep.
It's a summer camp, so as long as they can get there and back, then food, entertainment. If they're doing the aerospace career one, I know they have at least 1 or 2 flights. You have to kind of think of it. It is based on students anywhere from 14 to 18. So
Okay.
they do have chaperones 24/7. They don't let the students like run rampant. They have students to watch over them.
Students
It's
to
really
watch
great.
over them?
Embry-Riddle students that are college students. So, yes.
Okay,
the kids, I've had kids go every year. They love it. They have a
good luck.
Uh,
I will only send my best. Okay, I gotta run. Hillary,
Okay,
good talking to you.
That's just about everything. There is still that summer professional. If you gotta go ahead. Everybody saw this online already. It's been about an hour. I'm kind of over it. If you guys are good, you can read the rest of this. July 18th and 19th. Just make sure that you're available, and you'll head to Embry-Riddle and do that summer professional development.
we
And
can't do it online.
no, you can't.
All right.
Gary, I had a couple questions for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I was wondering, is it possible to forward that email to me I didn't seem to find the scholarships thing you're talking about that's embedded in the newsletter. I was looking through my email. I'm not sure where it came from.
Sure. This one that you're talking about here?
Yes, that one right there.
Okay, yeah.
And also the original RFP assignment you're talking about, that's for AS 220, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. And then with the DGI training, is it possible still to get in that if I check with Josh? Because I'm hoping to set up a club. I was looking to set up a club, a charter club at my school, possibly doing the SIDS, the Students for Exploring and Development of Space. I understand you guys have a charter on campus. Dr. Doug Eisenberg runs it, I think, is the sponsor. Because I'm trying to get like a club that does like drones and does like pilotry at the same time. So is it possible to check with Josh to still get in on that training?
The training, I know for this round, has already been delegated.
Okay.
So you can definitely ask him, or at least tell him that you're interested. So maybe if somebody backs out.
Okay.
But I know that the spots right now are filled.
Okay, very good. And then the other thing you mentioned, the all expense paid trip, there's still 1 or 2 spots left for that. And that was good for the AS 120 student or teachers.
Teachers, yep.
Correct.
It's to Daytona Beach. It's the NTAS.
I do have that email from you. I do have
Okay.
that one. Yes.
Are
Okay,
you
very-
interested? Do you want me to throw your name in there?
Well, let me clear with my boss. I just got to clear with my wife. I'll double check to see the dates.
Yeah, I know who runs the household.
Very good. And then when is spring break on campus for you guys?
Spring break is, I have that for you. March 13th through that week. So it's not
Okay.
next week, but the week after. That's our
Okay.
Embry-Riddle spring break.
Oh, very good. Okay. Well, that makes sense then. 13th through the 18th, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay, very good.
at least.
And then where do you post up the former Zoom meetings, the minutes, or to watch them? Is that because I wanted to get some from the last meeting we had last month, the first of the month one.
I have them right now on 121. I could put them on 120 if you want.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll do that for you.
It'll be in the
I
sandbox or something, or
What's that?
will it be located in the sandbox, or will it be located in the message board?
In the sandbox one. So if you go to, here, I'll just show you real quick. So right now, I'll go into the 120 sandbox for you, where I have the other ones, and you got modules. And then, so they're right in here in the front
Oh.
for recorded sessions.
By date. Oh, very good. Okay, that's convenient.
And so I have from 127. So I didn't do last month's actually. I put them on 121 instead.
Okay, very good. And then if I'm hoping to set up a club, is that something I could do? Like, is it, someone mentioned that they use AMA, like AMA Club for the drones,
Yeah.
for the UAVs. But is it possible to be charter of, you guys have, I guess the other one, the SEDS, is the Students for Exploring and Development of Space. That one, I guess, is kind of student-led. You have a visor on campus. So I might just do some research to try to set something up with that. I could be like a charter at our high school.
Yeah, definitely. And Embry-Riddle's always there to help back up or help sponsor as long as you incorporate, the Embry-Riddle logo or name.
Okay.
So if you want to send any things that you would like in terms maybe of t-shirts or of signs or posters or whatever, if you have the format already completed and everything good to go, then Terry can help push it to the right.
Okay. So she should use Terry as the contact for kind of setting up that club kind of deal through, I guess, on our campus for that kind of thing, or just you said for t-shirts and that kind of stuff.
Just for materials.
Okay.
And that kind
Okay,
of
very good.
But if you want to do anything on your campus, then most likely, at least on mine, it's kind of like we start it with a few students and me as the sponsor or the advisor, whatever you call us. And then as long as we don't really require any money, then the high schools are almost always on board.
Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. I think that's all I have. And then, is it possible to send this agenda out, or are you going to post this agenda out?
Yeah, sure. I'll put the Zoom on there, and then if you want, I could post this. Let's see. I can post this on underneath the Zoom meeting.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I have, I think. Thank you.
Okay. No problem. I think everyone else ditched us. That's okay. All right. Well, it's officially 1 hour, and that officially means that it's time to stop working. But
Have
if
a
you
nice
guys
day.
need anything,
Good night.
Did you get my chat message?
yeah, right.
See you later.
Goodbye.